Yo, what is going on, everybody? And in today's video, we're going to be talking about what is next for the future of the Pittsburgh Penguins. But before this video gets started, I want to say I do have another guest on the channel today. It is Bigger and Bradder Sports, a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. So everyone go check out their channel. I'm going to link it down in the description. They cover mostly all of the playoff games, and they do other sports as well. Very smart and very educated. So make sure you guys go check them out, and let's get right into the video. For the past decade in the NHL, the Pittsburgh Penguins have really been the most consistently good NHL team, obviously winning the last two Stanley Cups led by Crosby and Malkin. But after their second round exit to the Washington Capitals, and obviously congrats to the Capitals for finally beating the Pittsburgh Penguins and moving on to the conference finals. But with the Penguins getting bounced in the second round and some of their core guys getting a little bit more up there in age, are things going to start to turn around a little bit for the Penguins? They definitely do still have some good years left, and it's going to be interesting to see. This is going to be an important offseason for them. There are a lot of rumors going around that Phil Kessel could be on the move, so that is very interesting to see, and I think that could maybe be a move to free up some cap space to maybe go after one of the big two free agents, John Carlson or John Tavares, and if they go to the Pittsburgh Penguins, the NHL better look out. Ultimately, no matter what really happens with the Penguins this offseason, they're still going to be one of the top teams in the NHL next season, and I don't think Penguins fans should really be all that upset with the second round exit, as this team needs some rest. They've played a ridiculous amount of playoff games in the last two seasons, so obviously getting that extended bit of rest is going to help some of the older veterans on this team just recuperate and get ready for another run at the Stanley Cup next season, which is going to be very possible for them to do with the talent they still have on their roster. The Penguins only have around $200K in cap space, so they don't really have much flexibility on what they can do as far as signing big high-end free agents, so their team is most likely just going to stay the same. Defenseman Jamie Oleksiak and forward Brian Rust, in my opinion, are two guys that really should be priorities to bring back this offseason, as Oleksiak is still a guy with a lot of potential, and he played decent minutes for the Penguins throughout the playoffs and throughout the regular season this year. So ultimately, I think the core is just going to stay the same. You're going to have Crosby, Gensel, and Sherry together. You'll have Malkin, Hornquist. But the one wild card is Phil Kessel, because there have been rumors going around of them wanting to move on from Phil Kessel, but I really don't know what they could really get in return for Kessel. Obviously, you could probably get some decent young players, but as far as contending goes, you want to keep him if you want to make another run at the Stanley Cup next season, unless you're removing him to free up cap space to go after a guy like John Tavares or John Carlson, who are going to cost you big bucks, because they really are the two biggest names in free agency right now. John Carlson should have been a Norris Trophy finalist in my opinion, and obviously John Tavares is probably a top 5, top 7 center in the NHL today, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do. They're going to be still very, very good next season. Obviously, I think they're going to be good until Crosby and Malkin's days are numbered. So let me know what you guys think the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be able to accomplish next season. Obviously, with the roster that they have, I think this extended period of rest is certainly going to benefit Crosby, Malkin, Kessel, Hornquist, Letang, and guys like that. And in goal, obviously, they have that solidified with Matt Murray. You know, there was people saying he was shaky throughout the playoffs, but that's going to happen when you have a young goaltender who has already won 2 Stanley Cups. So obviously, you have the goaltender of your present and future. You have your superstars. So ultimately right now, I think it's just about recuperating, getting some rest, and getting ready to make another run at the Stanley Cup next season, which we all know they are very capable of doing.
What's going on, guys? Big Tuna with you here on Nyquist's channel, and I am here to talk about what is next for the Pittsburgh Penguins, mainly talking about their off-season moves, maybe trades, releasing players, you know, maybe acquiring some players. You never know. But before I get into the video, I'm going to have to plug my channel, Bigger and Bradder Sports. We get videos out to you almost every day. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and please comment below. I always love doing some friendly banter with fellow hockey fans. Okay, like we said here in the video, we're going to do what's next for the Penguins. And honestly, they're going to look about the same as they did last year, because I looked through everything. I looked at their restricted free agents as well as their unrestricted free agents. You know, I put down a couple things what they need to do to improve, and then I looked at their cap space, and then I looked at what players might be traded or released. So first thing we're going to do is go with the free agents. Going into next year, the Penguins only have one player who is an unrestricted free agent that had some key time on the team, and that's Carter Rowney. I put next to his name that he is replaceable because he is. He's a fourth-line forward. He's a good player. He's got a lot of heart, but there's a lot of them out there. As much as I do like keeping the core group together, Carter Rowney is replaceable. And for the Penguins fans, you shouldn't be that upset because that's our only unrestricted free agent. No big names, just Carter Rowney. On the restricted free agent side, honestly, it's a bunch of names that are replaceables. I hope some of them stay, but it's probably going to get some big offers from other teams, and I don't think the Penguins will be able to match it. On the forward side, you've got Riley Sheehan, Brian Rust, Tom Kuhnhackl, and Dominique Simone. There's three of them I said that should stay, and one of them I said, he's replaceable, and I did that with Riley Sheehan. Riley Sheehan is replaceable, in my opinion. Brian Rust, I think he should stay because I call him Mr. Game 7. He always scores goals on opportunistic times. Tom Kuhnhackl, I like the way he plays for the team, and I think he should stay because he could be a very, very long-term Penguin. Good player, physical, fast, and that's the way the Penguins like to play. Dominique Simone, honestly, he came in, played some big minutes in the playoffs. I wasn't impressed, but I saw flashes of, good play, so I think he should stay just because he probably will mature good or better with the Penguins with their two great forwards on, their two great centermen for Simone to play on. And on the defensive side, you got Jamie Oleksiak, who I really want him to stay because he's a big, powerful defenseman, not that fast, but he did log some big minutes in the playoffs, and I really just like the way that he plays. I think the Penguins need to focus on defense this offseason, but I'll get into that, and I think Oleksiak should be their #1 priority to keep. If I had to rank the restricted free agents on which ones we should keep, I would go Oleksiak, Rust, Kuhnhackl, Simone, and then Sheehan. Sorry, Riley Sheehan, I just think you're replaceable. Alright, so, and I got all the contract stuff from SpotTrack, www.spottrack.com. They're very good. They show you which players are going to be free agents, unrestricted free agents, and so on. So, after I looked at the free agents, I looked at our cap. Every year in the NHL, the salary cap does rise a little bit. And according to plenty of websites and according to Cap Friendly, the cap is going to get a little bit more by $3 to $7 million. So they're saying between $78 and $82 million. And that's a big thing for the Pittsburgh Penguins because last year they spent 75 of the $75 million allowed. And obviously that's for Crosby, Malkin, Kessel, Hornquist, Letang, Schultz, Dumoulin, Hagelin, all big names. And honestly, they need to stay there because they are the core group that has won back-to-back championships, and they have a real shot at doing it again next year because the team is going to stay the same. They were a favorite to win it this year, and they'll probably be a favorite to win it again next year. And I put that at the bottom of my research here on the salary cap here. They're going to need to find ways to make cap, and that might be, letting some of those restricted free agents go, letting Carter Rowney go, and get into the next thing I was going to talk about, what players might be traded or released. There's 4 names I wrote down here. One of them is a passion name, but I just dislike the way he plays. But I went with 4 players. I think Derek Brassard should be released or traded. He has a cap hit of $3 million. Was not impressed with his play in the playoffs, and I really think he needs to leave the team because he's not the third-line center that the Penguins usually have on their team. I put in Olli Maatta, who has a cap hit of $4 million, and I think also he needs to go because I don't like the way he plays, and I never will. He is not a very good defenseman, has a lot of turnovers, and makes a lot of mistakes on the defensive side. The next one is Matt Hunwick, which probably will happen because he barely played this year for the Penguins, and he was one of their big signings in the offseason. He has a cap hit of $2.25 million, and honestly, I think he needs to part ways with the Penguins. He might be released, or he might be traded in a bundle deal. I would not be surprised there. And the fourth person in there is Phil Kessel. He's got a cap hit of $6.8 million. Yes, he had a great regular season, but he was terrible in the postseason. We all know that's what matters. He's still worth something, and you know what? He gets paid a lot of money. And if you get the right deal, Pittsburgh Penguins, I would think you should pull the trigger on him because we have him under contract for a long time. And honestly, I do think it's dead money. I think his play will get worse as the years go on, just like most players, but for the amount of money he's making, he needs to be top. And he was this year, but he was terrible in the offseason. So in my opinion, he is one of the other ones that needs to be looked at being traded. So I'm going to end it here with what the Pittsburgh Penguins need to do to be better next year. Honestly, the first thing I wrote in bold letters is find more defensive defensemen. I know that's a mouthful to say, but I really think that the Penguins need to focus more on defense than offense. That's fantastic. They can score a ton of goals, but it was because of the defense that we lost the series against Washington, in my opinion. The defensemen made bad moves, and the worst thing is that the team pretty much have offensive defensemen all around their team. Mata, Letang, and Schultz. That's not going to work if you have three offensive defensemen, because if you put two offensive defensemen out at the same time, no one's going to play defense. And that's what they did sometimes. They put Letang out there with Schultz. Sometimes they put Letang with Dumoulin, but still, you need more defensive defensemen if you're going to get better, Pittsburgh Penguins. Also, I said they need a decent backup goalie because Casey DeSmith is okay, but he's still young. He needs time to mature. I bet you there's a veteran out there who take a one-year contract, and hopefully it isn't as bad as Niemi was this year for the Penguins. Also, I think the Penguins need a really good third and fourth line center because that's how they won championships. They've always had solid center players. Malkin, Crosby, and in the third and fourth, they had either Stahl, Cullen, Sutter, or Bonino. All those names have besides Sutter, three of those people have their name put on a Stanley Cup while they were Pittsburgh Penguins third or fourth line centerman. I really think that you need to look at a strong third and fourth line center to get better next year. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. I'm going to leave the rest of it to O. Nyquist, good friend of mine. Always remember to like and subscribe his videos. You can also check us out at Bigger and Bradder Sports. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Please comment below. We are also on Instagram at Bigger and Bradder Sports, one word. And like I said, keep checking out my friend O. Nyquist's channel. And come on over to ours and take a look too. We got videos out all day, every day as well. Have a good night, guys. Take it over, O. Nyquist.
So that is going to wrap up the video. I really hope everybody did enjoy, and thank you to Bigger and Bradder Sports for coming on over to the channel. Obviously brought up some very, very good points. He is more of a Pittsburgh Penguins fan than I am, so he was a very good person to make this video with, as he does know a lot about the Penguins, watches all their games, and stuff like that. So I'm going to link his channel down in the description below. Make sure you go over, subscribe to him, do me a favor and do that, and make sure you subscribe to our channel if you have not already. Drop a like on the video, and obviously, yeah, subscribe for daily NHL content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.